To show you how to maximize your benefits if you're already receiving Social Security retirement benefits, disability benefits, pretty much any benefits, or if you're about to file, let's make sure you're doing the right thing and get the right check at the right time. And it's the maximum amount you possibly can. My name is Ed Weir. I ran the third business Social Security office in the country, and I'm helping you get all the benefits you earned and making sure it stays here. Social Security doesn't cut your benefit amount. I'm going to be doing an important video tomorrow. If you're here to make sure you're getting the maximum amount, President Biden just signed an act, a law that is going to be giving about another $500 or $600 to a couple of million government employees throughout the country, and I completely disagree with it. Unfortunately, I don't think you're going to be able to get the other $500 or $600 plus about $5,000 or $6,000 worth of back pay. They essentially, I guess, tricked, manipulated politicians on this Social Security Fairness Act, but I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I think it's a travesty. And if they're going to give extra money to these 3% of people out there, I say they give it to the rest of us 97%. But I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. A lot of people are completely they haven't got a clue what they're talking about, basically. So I'll go over that again tomorrow. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. So I've got in a list here, and this is a live Q&A. I'll go through the list. If you got any specific questions, make sure you type them into chat there, and I will get to as many as I humanly possibly can within an hour. All right. So the first thing about retirement is obviously when are you going to start your retirement? Are you going to do it early? Are you going to do it? You're going to wait till your full retirement age? Are you going to wait and get those delayed retirement credits? People ask me all the time, Ed, when should I file? When should I start? Well, there's a bunch of questions you need to ask yourself. Do you need the money? If you're 62, 63, 64 and you need the money, well, that's a no-brainer. You need the money, so go ahead and get your money. There's limitations in terms of your work. This year, there's a limit. There's a limit every year. But this year, the limit is $23,400. So anything over that, Social Security holds back $1 for every $2 if you go over, if you're looking for early retirement. The year you turn your full retirement age, that pretty much triples there. Make sure I got volume here. If you've got any auxiliaries, an auxiliary means if your spouse is waiting for you to file for benefits so they can file for benefits. If you have any children, that makes the calculations completely different. Just talked to somebody yesterday and they say, I was going to wait till 70, but I've got like 3 children that are under the age of 18. And so I'm like, wow, you're going to be missing checks for a long time, because they could get checks as well. So there's, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and file at 62 then. How's your health? If you're healthy and your genes in your family, you're going to live to 100 years old, then it might be a good idea to wait till you're 70 years old to max it out, get as much money as you possibly can. Then there's the issue of taxes. If you get your benefits now rather than later, is that going to put you in a higher tax bracket because you're working or whatever the case may be? If you get that money now, get it ahead of the game, can you invest it and make more than what Social Security, after you hit your full retirement age, Social Security, your benefit, it goes up 8% per year. If you can do better than that, it might be a good idea to pull that money out there and put it in wherever. And one thing I've added that I've never really added before was politics. It's not about who's going to be the next president. It didn't matter who won the presidential race. This next 4 years is going to be crucial for your checks. We're looking at cuts here coming relatively soon. And if nothing happens over the next couple of 3 years, if we don't do something to fix this, then by 2034, we're going to get about 21% cuts. It's since the president just signed that Social Security Fairness Act, which is unfair, into law, the cuts are going to happen sooner, probably earlier in 2034 or maybe 2033, and the cuts are going to be deeper. If the next president does some of the stuff he's talking about, the cuts are even going to be even deeper and even sooner. So we need to make sure that we reach out to the politicians and get this done. And I'm going to pop up a thing that I'm going to show again tomorrow, but we need to act now. So call your senator. Here's the phone number for your senator, the president. Get onto their website, contact their local office and say, hey, if you're going to give out this $586 to these government employees, where's mine? If you're not going to give me mine, then let's make it fair for everybody. We need to get rid of the FICA cap. What are you doing to improve customer service at our or local Social Security office? And what are you doing to make sure the cuts don't happen? So please, I'll talk about these a little bit more in detail tomorrow. But go ahead and screenshot that, take a picture of it, and get on the phone and let's get this done so we don't have any issues in the future. All right. Let's get back to the regularly planned story on early retirement or when to take your benefits. All right. So, a lot of people mess up when they're talking about working. If you're looking at early retirement, and let's say you want to go ahead and file for benefits in July, and you say, I'd like to file in July, but I'm over the annual earnings limit for this year. The earnings limit, 23,400. I'll make 60,000 by then. So I guess I can't retire this year. So I guess I'll wait till next year. That happens all the time, and it's incorrect. Social Security can switch to a monthly earnings limit. So instead of, the 23,400, the first month you go under the monthly limit. For this year it's 1950. How do you get that number? 23,400 divided by 12 is $1,950. The first month you go under $1,950, you can start your Social Security benefits. So in July, let's say from January till June, you make $1 billion. I always exaggerate for effect if you're new to my channel. If you're new to my channel, subscribe and like and all that good stuff. You make $1 billion from January to June. Starting in July, you stop work or you start earning under $1,950. So in July, you can start your benefits. Doesn't matter what you made before. So from as long as you're under 1950 from July to the end of the year, you're good. Next year, you have to stay under the annual. You can't do a monthly. Again, you can only do that one time. So a lot of people are losing benefits. They're losing months of benefits because they think, they can't. And you can work. And collect Social Security, that 20, as long as you stand under the 23,400, anything over that, they hold back $1 for every $2. If they do hold back that money, here's what happens. Let's say you file for benefits at 62, you start getting those benefits for a year, and then after a while, you go back to work and you're making a lot of money, and they stop your benefits, they stop your Social Security. And you're like, oh, I lost that money. Well, not necessarily so. What happens is once you hit your full retirement age, this is called ARF, the adjusted reduction factor. Once you hit your full retirement age, the Social Security computer system looks at this automatically and says, hey, this person filed 30 months early, so they got a 30-month reduction in benefits when they started. But after about 10 months, they went back to work. So they didn't get 20 checks. So once you hit your full retirement age, the computer system looks at that and says, hey, when you restart your benefits, we've reduced you by 30 months, but you only took 10 months. So we're only going to reduce you by 10 months going forward. So they automatically do it. That's a easy issue. Earnings record. One of the main ways to make sure you're getting the right benefit is to make sure your earnings record is correct. Please, please, please tell everybody, all the young people and everybody, go into ssa.gov, check out the My Social Security, set up an account there and check your earnings record. Once, you do your taxes with the IRS notifies Social Security of how much you made, and Social Security uses that high 35 years to determine how much your benefits are going to be, whether it's retirement or disability or survivors or whatever the case may be. It's based on your earnings record. And you see a lot of people out there doing videos like this on how to maximize your Social Security. It's interesting. Most of the times these videos, not anybody that ever worked at Social Security, but they how do you maximize your Social Security? They give you these genius ideas. Earn more. Okay, all right. I'll get right on there. I'll go to my boss and say, hey, I want $100,000 raise. Right. So earn more. Okay. Yes, that's how you increase your retirement. That's a no brainer. Work more. Work longer. Okay. Yeah, that's another no brainer. Don't retire, because every time when you wait to collect your Social Security benefits all the way up until you're 70, then your benefits increase every month you wait and delay retirement. So it's don't retire, wait till so yeah. So those are the most of the videos out there on maximizing Social Security just talk about those three things, and they don't give you actually kind of actual information you can act on. Another thing is military service. It doesn't increase your benefit a whole heck of a lot, but hey, a buck is a buck is a buck, right? If you served in the military, the Social Security Administration gives you a little bit of extra earnings for those particular years you were in the military. So all you have to do is when you file for your application, make sure you tell them that you served in the military, and they're asking you what years. You might have to provide your DD-214. Every retired veteran always has a DD-214 that follows around there forever. I think I have 3 or 4 copies of my old DD-214. Voluntary delayed retirement credits. Here's something a lot of people miss. And Social Security employees don't know about it. You go into a Social Security office and ask them about it, they'll look at you like you're crazy. Social Security do more training on this. It's called voluntary delayed retirement credits. It's basically if you are receiving your benefits and you're about to hit your full retirement age, 66 and 8 months or 67 or whatever the case may be, you stop your benefits. You suspend your Social Security benefits. And then you restart them at 68, 69, or 70. So you're basically getting those voluntary delayed retirement credits, that 8% per year. So this is not one of those things where you have to pay it back. If you file for retirement benefits and you change your mind within 12 months, you can withdraw your application. You have to pay it back. It's not a full withdrawal until you actually pay back all the money you received, and then it's like a do-over. It's like you never even filed. It's not like that. This is voluntary delayed retirement credits. You don't have to pay all the money back that you already earned, that you already received. You just suspend your benefits and get that 8%. So a lot of people don't know about that. And Social Security employees, like I said, when you go in there, they won't tell you because they don't know but quite often, because not many people know about it and not many people do it. But it is out there. Medicare is Medicare mandatory. This is another way to make sure your check is correct. I see a lot of people out there that we've got the silver tsunami. More people turned 65 this year than any time in U.S. history, same as last year, but we beat last year. Baby boomers. So we've got a lot of people turning 65 and they're saying, well, I heard Medicare is mandatory. Yes, it is, except there's 20,000 pages of Social Security policy. There's a policy. There's always an exception to exceptions. This one is a pretty standard exception. If you have health insurance from work, current work, yours or your spouse's current work, and your employer, that group health plan, has 20 or more employees, then you do not have to get Medicare Part A, Part B. You have to be happy with it. And sometimes your employers make you sign up for Part B or something like that, but that's between you and your employer. Social Security does not, Medicare does not penalize you. So if you have health insurance from current work, it's not like a retirement plan or the Affordable Care Act or, COBRA or anything like. It's actually from current work. So if you have health insurance from current work and then you retire at 75 years old, then you go ahead and sign up for Part B at that time, and there's no penalty whatsoever. And so, and then you start out to figuring out what you're going to do, because Medicare Part A and Part B are awesome, but there's gaps there. So people get either a Medicare supplement, which I recommend, Medicare Advantage, Medicare Part D, the prescription drug plan. I always say check out Medicare Advantage first. Medicare supplement first. I make sure Medicare supplement first, either an N or a G. And then if that's not for you, then go down to a Medicare Advantage. But always check out the Medicare supplements first. And if you need help, my partners there at Chopper can help you out. Spouse benefits. Another way to make sure you're getting all the benefits you're entitled to in your household is make sure your spouse receives the correct amount of benefits. So I see a lot of people that didn't know their spouse can also collect benefits. So if you're receiving benefits, your spouse can collect benefits as well. There's still the earnings limit that they have to stay under. They have to file for benefits on their own record first. In the old days, prior to 2016, you couldn't do that, but they have to file for their benefits on their own record first. And then if your benefit amount is twice their benefit amount, then they can file for benefits on your record, and they get the difference between the two. One offsets the other, but hopefully there's more money there for you. And one of the things people do is called a split strategy, where the lower income earner goes ahead and starts their benefits earlier. The higher income earner just continues to work and increase their Social Security. And when the higher earner jumps on and starts their benefits, then the lower earning spouse can start those benefits as well. And another thing you can do to make sure you're getting correct benefit is A lot of people, when they're in their early 60s, the reason they're like, I really like to keep working, but at my disability is just not able to, I'm just not able to work anymore. You can file for what's called a RIB-DIB, a retirement insurance application, retirement insurance benefits, and a disability insurance benefits, a RIB-DIB. You can file at the same time. You don't get both. You get the higher of the one of whichever one. But what it is, why would people do that? Is unfortunately, because Social Security is a low 50-year low of staffing, and politicians want to make customer service terrible. So you would hate Social Security. And so when they'd say, hey, let's just go ahead and give it to Wall Street because Social Security sucks anyway, you've fallen for their trap. And but we're smarter than that, right? So that's why you reach out to your politicians and say, hey, make customer service on my local office better. But you file for disability, and it takes 6 to 9 months if you're lucky to get an answer. And during that time, people need money. So what you do is you file for early retirement, get those retirement monthly benefits started, and then while you're waiting for your disability, and hopefully your disability is approved, and then you switch over to disability. All right. So that is how to make sure you're getting everything. And but there's exceptions, and people have different situations and questions. So let's go ahead and jump into the Q&A, and I'll answer as many questions as I can for the next 40 minutes. Veto the Fairness Act. Yeah. I think I think it's too late for a veto because the president already signed it. Um, and this was bipartisan. Democrat, Republicans. I think politicians are politicians, and they kind of fell in the trap. And yeah, I think the only one that can really do it is the next president, President Trump. Maybe he can lead something to make it fair for the other 97%. All right, let's see. Also, don't forget to hit the like button. Yes, please. Harry, ex-wife, collects Social Security on her record, qualifies to collect on my benefits, more than twice hers. I'm 68, still working. Is there any retroactive amount she can claim in advance? Um, and let's see, you are an ex, so that would be an independently entitled divorced spouse because you do not. What probably happened is she didn't know that there were spouse benefits, or she was like a lot of people out there that unfortunately think you have to start receiving benefits in order for her to start receiving benefits. And that's 100% incorrect. It's called independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. So as long as you're 62, which you are, then she's entitled to benefits on yours because it's twice, you know, your benefit amount is twice her amount. So I would definitely, they might do a deemed filing, basically that when she filed for benefits on her own record, they said, hey, you should have filed for benefits on your ex-husband's record at that time. But it really depends on her age. 75, she might be under the old law. So that's two things I'd make sure she checks out. Hey, number one, they should be able to go back 6 months, no problem. 6 months retroactive pay. That's the easy one. The other one is, hey, what about deemed filing? Deemed, DEEMED, deemed filing in my case. Should I have filed for those benefits 6 years ago when you turned 62? If so, oops. And can I have all that money back? Those are two things I would definitely check out. So let us know how that goes. Let's see. Nelson, in order to have the FICA cap raised, we need to get a third party candidate who has the raising the FICA cap in their agenda voted into office. Yeah. Neither Democrats or Republicans will do it. Yeah. I'm optimistic. I think if we keep pushing them, hopefully they will finally get the point. But, they get all their money from the rich, and the rich don't want to pay, those 5% don't want to pay more. So yeah, so it's the other 95% of they're going to hurt, unfortunately. And a friend of mine was told at Social Security office that even though she is 62, she cannot collect spousal benefits because her husband hasn't filed. See, exactly. There it is right there. Doesn't sound right to me what she should do. She should go back to the Social Security Administration and straighten those people out. And I'm looking for the policy reference, cut, paste, and I'm going to type it in the bottom of the chat there. It's under IEDS, independently entitled divorced spouse. So she takes that, prints it off. Next time she goes down to the Social Security office, she hands it to that person, and that the CSR, which I'm sure it was, the customer service representative, will take it and go back, and then they'll go back with and talk to you with a sheepish look on their face and say, "Oh, wow, didn't know that. You should have known that." So there it is. I did post this on Blue Sky. I have no power on either site. Trying to get Ed's message out there. Thank you very much. Yeah, I just joined Blue Sky. I'm on. Yeah, I've got Facebook and Instagram, and you've got X, and yeah, 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 all of them. So. Yesterday, it seemed to be a lot of bots, trolls. Just keep an eye on. Oh yeah, so I guess when it gets popular, you get more of those interesting people. Somebody reached out to Chapter and they weren't impressed. I sent a message to that person. Send me an email. I have the emails in my in the description on the YouTube. But send me an email, and yeah, I'll look into that. So they've Chapter's been doing a phenomenal job. They had a tough job because there's so many changes for Medicare for 2025. Nobody was able to handle kind of the onslaught of people needing to check their plans for 2025. So yeah, it was the craziest Medicare season we've had since Medicare, for 20 years. So unfortunately, but now we're back into a regular role. So reach out to them. Can I just sell my house and move to a third world country with my wife and keep our Social Security benefits? Any restrictions or exceptions? If you're a U.S. citizen, no. You can move anywhere in the world except for North Korea and Cuba. So if you're looking to enjoy the beaches of North Korea, then I would stay away. But yeah, you can move anywhere in the world. The only limitation that you will have is when you're living overseas. If Social Security knows you're living overseas, then they will send you called a proof of life form once a year. Because if you live in the United States and if you pass away, then there's an automatic system to report your death and stop your checks and everything. But in terms of living overseas, they don't have that. So the Social Security sends you a letter once a year in snail mail, and you have to fill it out and return it in snail mail, that you are still out there alive and kicking. If you don't, then they will stop your check. Other than that, you're good. Decades ago, my wife passed away. I didn't qualify for benefits because I was a federal worker. I retired on a CSRS. I am still eligible for now for any of my wife's benefits. Yeah, that's the Fairness Act. So I'll talk about that. So, do you believe Biden understood what he signed? I think he did, but he has been a kind of in favor of repealing that. I think it's purely political reasons. He understands that it's what should have happened is those teachers and firefighters and government workers and mayors and attorneys and lobbyists and that work in these non-covered employment, these states, local governments that did not pay into Social Security, instead of throwing the old policy out, which there are some there, it wasn't perfect. It's been around for 40 years. It wasn't perfect. Instead of completely throwing it out, they should have said, "Hey, let's make something that's more fair for us and the other 97% of people out there." What they did is they decided to just go ahead and throw it out, and now they're going to get extra benefits that they weren't intended for them. But I'll talk about that tomorrow, and we're gonna try to get this fixed. First Social Security check this month under full retirement age, and no, I need to stay under 23,400 yearly. My monthly wages vary. Do I need to stay under 1950? Under fraud, and okay, so you are under full retirement age. Um, First Social Security check this month. So if you go over the 23,400 for the year, then yes, then the monthly thing might come into effect. But if you are under 23,000 for the whole year, it doesn't matter. So you can make 1950, every single month, no problem, or you can make twice that in one month and make zero the next month. So as long as you're under 23,400 for the entire year, you don't even have to switch to the monthly. So it doesn't matter if you made it in one day or they're 12 months. It's the yearly. Let's see. How to fix Social Security, tax all wages with no limit, tax stock options because this is 70% of 40. Yeah, there's, um, yeah, I mean, to be fair, since we pay, FICA Social Security tax on all of our income, the other 5% should as well. I think it's fair. My goal of retirement is 62. I have 800,000. Wow. Wow. You're doing very, very well. Hiking with turtle. Yeah. Let's see. I have no idea if I'm eligible or not. I work for a local government. Okay, so this is a WEP GPO, the thingy. So I'm going to I'm going to punt on those since I'm going to be talking about it tomorrow. Da, da. How much can I make a month if I'm on SSI, not SSA? All right. So thank you for the clarification there. Not SSA, SSI. Before I am dinged. Um, Pretty much any money coming in from income is offsets what you're receiving from SSI. SSI, it's a welfare-based program. So you got any other income or resources. I did a couple of videos. Oh, where am I? Check out these videos. The one on the bottom is SSI and working. I would definitely keep notes and make sure, if you work, then basically, that's going to offset what you receive from SSI. So I would reach out and make sure Social Security knows how much you're going to be making, and you actually have to report your income. There's a way to do it on the phone. I've tried it a few times on the phone for people, visitors, and tried to show them how to do it. And the one on the phone is really terrible and pushing numbers. There is an app that you can do, or you kind of go on online and do it. That's an easier way to do it, or you can just mail them in to the Social Security Administration or fax them in. That's probably even better. So I'm 62. Can I file for Social Security on my record? And then in a couple of years, when my husband files, can I switch to the spousal benefits? Absolutely. Yep. You're not necessarily switching, you're adding. So you file for benefits on your record. And then when your husband files for benefits on their record, if his benefit amount is twice your full benefit amount, then you can get those extra benefits. So that extra money is added on top of what you are already receiving. One offsets the other. But yes, absolutely. I am deaf on SSDI. My monthly benefit is 1934. Do I qualify for SSI also because my disability started before the age of 22? Yeah, you wouldn't qualify for SSI because that's the welfare-based program, and the most you can get on that is what, $967 this year. In terms of um, because you're on SSDI, that means you did work and you're receiving 1934, and that's a very, very good number. That's about the national average. So you probably wouldn't qualify because you've got a pretty good work record, it looks like there. But if you have a parent that is receiving retirement benefits, disability benefits, or deceased, it doesn't hurt to try it out. Yeah, it really depends on your particular work record and how long you worked and everything like that. But yeah, I would definitely check it out. So it's called DAC, Disabled Adult Child Benefits. My friend was told at their local social security, oh, okay, yep. So that's the independently entitled divorced spouse. So I've already answered that one. I have applied for disability and they sent me to a doctor even though I provided papers from the doctor who was taking care of my injury. Yeah, so it sounds like a consultative exam, a CE. So you've been waiting months and months and months, and they finally decided to send you to a social security doctor. It's somebody who's contracted with the government. And yeah, so for whatever reason, they want a second opinion. So yeah, please make sure you go to that appointment. If you don't go to the consultative exam, that's reasons for denial right there. So, should I set up an appointment to protect me for retro? I only have Medicare from his account. Yes, yes, good question. So if you're looking to file for benefits, and let's say you're looking to file for divorce spouse benefits or something, right? But you're like, oh, I guess I need the marriage certificate and the divorce decree. I'll go ahead and order those, and when I get it, then I'll call Social Security. No, 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 no. Do it opposite. Call Social Security, set up an appointment, and then start getting whatever documents. Because but keep your appointment. If you don't have your documents by the time your appointment rolls around, doesn't matter. Keep your appointment because they might say, oh yeah, we don't even need that we just need this, because that protects you. So if you call in July and you don't get an appointment until March, you can start your benefits in January. What did I say? January? Yeah, January. You can start your benefits in January because that's when you first called. So it's called a protective filing. My husband passed away December 2nd. Social Security said they were going to switch me over to his as he made more. He also had SSDI. So will it be that or just Social Security? I had to have the phone house. Yeah, it's the same thing. So he was receiving SSDI, which is basically SSDI is full retirement age retirement from Social Security. So they're the same thing. So basically, whatever he was receiving, your benefit will be based on that, depending on how old you are. If you're your full retirement age, then you will receive 100% of his check. Yep. The day to start cutting back on Social Security, probably the day will have a worldwide homeless population. It's better enough to have it now, but I doubt they'll do something like that. Yeah, if they cut back those benefits, by 20%, that's what I'd recommend. It's, if you're going to reach out to your senator or House representative or call the White House and say, or call your local news or whoever, write a editorial in the newspaper. Is that a thing still nowadays? Um, and say, hey, if the cuts that are planned to happen, and you can look at my YouTube description page, and it'll tell you exactly the actuary, the Social Security trustees report exactly what I reported, 21% by 2034, as of right now. Um, you can say, hey, if my benefits were cut 21% today, here's the dire straits I would be in. So that might be a good way to reach out to people and say, hey, and as I said, cuts are happening now, and those cuts are destroying Social Security customer service, and the Social Security employees are there to make sure you're getting the benefits you earned. And the problem is there's just not enough of them, and the computer system is ancient, based on Fortran and COBOL from the 1970s. And the policy is over 20,000 pages, so they just don't spend enough time with each person as they need to, and people are being dropped, and people contact, oh yeah, I didn't have a problem. I got online, I filed for Social Security retirement, and I was all good. So I don't know what you're talking about, Ed. Well, that's nice. We're happy for you. But think about the larger community. Think about the homeless population don't have access. Think about the survivor benefits that got a little more difficult calculations. Think about spouse benefits, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits, retirement and disability, all the different variations. So those that had an easy life of it, easy experience with Social Security, congratulations, we're happy. But yeah, there's a lot more people out there that need help, and so share, subscribe, like, and so these videos get out there. The government push for you to put money in a 401k, but they don't tell that money will be taxed too. Yeah. Yeah, I don't do any that type of stuff. So, yes, mash the like. Oh, yes, please. Um, yeah, you're giving out bad information. There will not be no cut on Social Security. Stop. Okay. I think there's a whole bunch of people right now that beg to differ. All the people that we have found over the last year or so that lost benefits because they were not told the right thing. So that's a cut for them. There's so many people that got their benefits cut, and we're running out of yeah. So you can look at the trustees report. Not sure where you get your information, but do we have to call during business hours, or can we call and leave a message for our senator rep? I'm not sure that probably the call center, or the switchboard back in Washington D.C. is probably during regular times, but you can also call your local office too, and it's important on this. I did. We were doing a kind of a petition here for a little while, and it turns out the website that had the petition, they were asking people for money, and I didn't like that, so I was like, just shut it down. Um, and the petition, unless you got 20 million signatures, it's best to just go ahead and contact your local, because all politics are local. So when you contact them and says, hey, I live right down the street from your office. I am one of your constituents. I'm the one that votes for you or don't votes for you. That's the most important thing because, the number one job of a politician is to stay a politician. Um, so their local office, they might have, a message or something like that you can leave. Let's see here. My spouse just recently passed away. I received my own Social Security. My question is, do I have to file a new claim to receive my deceased spouse's Social Security, or does it automatically switch over? It really depends on how old you are. If you're past your full retirement age, and you are on that record, so you were receiving even $1 in spouse benefits from that person, so you were basically on that person's record, you were receiving money from that person's record, then it's automatic. If you're past your full retirement age and if you've already been receiving money from that person, it's automatic. And the $255, 99% of the time, it's automatic as well. Sometimes if the address is a little bit different, then it isn't. But if you're not your full retirement age, or if you are not receiving benefits, then you'll have to contact Social Security. You cannot do that online. So call Social Security and file for those benefits. Is there a cap on how much you can collect on Social Security? Oh, like the Social Security, how much the Social Security top benefit is. This year, it's what 4,000 or so for your full retirement age, and then 4,018, and then it went over 5,000 if you've paid the max for 35 years and you wait until you're 70 or full, full delayed retirement credits, it's over $5,000. First time it's been over $5,000. So, let's see. Can I collect on my late husband's Social Security as he never got his and was 72? What can you invest in without being penalized for it? You should be the one heading up Social Security and not RFK. Yeah, actually, it's another guy that RFK is going to be doing health and human services. Dr. Oz is doing the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services, and there's another guy, I forget his name right now, Berkowitz or something like that. So he's going to be the commissioner. Yeah. Let's see. I don't. Yeah, I don't think I'd want that political job. I'm too in people's face sometimes. Old Marine Corps sergeant. What are you going to do? Can you collect your late husband's Social Security? Yes, if the numbers are correct. If his benefits are higher than yours, absolutely. Sounds like hopefully you're collecting your Social Security benefits now. And if you were married to that person for at least 10 years or, married to that person when they passed away, absolutely. Even if there's if his record is $1 more, you can collect that extra dollar. So I would definitely reach out to Social Security and they will check the numbers and tell you whether there's any more money there. If there is, then I would definitely get that extra money. And because you're 72, you should have done that a couple of, I'm not sure when he passed away, but yeah, when he passed away, you should have definitely checked that out. And what can you be investing without being penalized for it? Yeah, and you're past your full retirement age, then you can work as much as you want. And investing in any of that doesn't affect Social Security at all. So, can you work part time even you're waiting for SSDI approval? How does it affect your application? Yes, you can because the Social Security disability takes months and months and months, and people have to pay the rent and eat. So Social Security understands that maybe you'll have to work, but you should definitely stay under the annual or excuse me the substantial gainful activity. I would even stay under the trial work period, which is $1,160 this year or so yeah, $1,160 a month. Um, so I would definitely stay under that. If you go over that substantially for 1 month and then don't do it again, Social Security can usually write that off as what's called an unsuccessful work attempt. That hey, this guy's or girl is doesn't want disability, doesn't want this actually wants to work, and so that's awesome. We like that. But they tried working for a month and they just weren't able to do it, so they don't hold that against you. It's called an unsuccessful work attempt. I have 4 kids. What happens if one child is removed from auxiliary benefits? Does his or her share go to the other kids receiving benefits? Yes. So you're talking about the family max. There's a maximum that can be paid out to a family. So if it was divided by the four children, and then one drops off because they, reach 18 or graduate high school, then whatever's left will divided by three children. It's in most cases, it's the same amount coming into the household. It's now divided by three instead of four. So you'll get the same total amount probably. That 23,400 limit is ridiculously low and out of touch with reality. Yeah, yeah. When I first started taking claims, many, many, many years ago, yeah, the annual earnings limit was $12,000. It was easy to calculate, $1,000 a month. So, let's see. Uh, Politicians don't listen to voters, especially after January 20th. Yeah, it's well, I would beg to differ with you on this one because those 3%, they had some really good lobbyists, and the way they framed their debate. Oh, what about our teachers and our firefighters and our police? And no, they're treating, they're reducing the benefits. Well, that's for 3%. So we can turn the tables and we can say, oh, what about the 97% of teachers and firefighters and cops that are getting their benefits reduced now? These 3% are receiving more as a percentage than these other 97%. So maybe we can switch around the kind of like, I would argue, propaganda or messaging. Yeah, they had very good lobbyists, and so they got it. They got the politicians to do what I think almost all politicians knew was not correct. It was not the right thing to do because the law was called the windfall elimination provision. It was a windfall. It was extra money, and that was a provision to eliminate that windfall. And politicians knew it, but yeah, they were manipulated into just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So I'll talk about more about that tomorrow. Da, da, da. President Trump do not want to destroy it on his cadence. We are hoping he will increase it to all American people versus but to SSA, but SSI is a different case. Yeah, he said he would not cut benefits, not raise the retirement age one day. Okay, awesome, perfect, like that. But what are you going to do to stop the impending cuts that are going to happen during not during President Trump's 4-year term. It's going to start during the one after that. And we need to do something now, or that's going to take effect. So that's why it's extremely important that we reach out. People that have money don't care if Social Security is stopped. Doesn't affect their wallets. That is unfortunately 100% the case, and that's what we're against. Yeah, that's what we're kind of, you know, having to deal with. How many months do I need to apply for my benefits for full retirement age? So how many, so you're about to reach your full retirement age and you want to know when you should start the application. 2 or 3 months before. Anything before that, the Social Security can't help you. So 2 or 3 months before you hit your full retirement age, or once you want your benefits to start, 2 or 3 months before is fine. My ex was born 1971 and passed 1998. He had cancer. We married 1989. I'm 58, and why SSI said I have to wait till 60. Yeah, you mean Social Security? Yeah, because that's yes. Survivor benefits in your case don't start until 60. That is correct. If you were disabled, what's called a disabled widowed benefit, then you can start from age 50 to 59, but there's a 7-year kind of time frame that you had to file for that, and you actually have to be disabled. But if you're not disabled, survivor benefits, the earliest you can get it is at 60 years old. And there's way, way too many people out there that think they hear 62, that magic number 62. And so they don't get their survivor benefits that they need to survive themselves until 62, and they lose those 2 years because all they hear is 62 and they don't get the right information. So please like and subscribe and share and all that kind of good stuff. Let's see. I'm currently drawing former spouse death benefit. I reach full retirement age in 14 months. Would it be wise to apply for my Social Security now or wait? My benefit is more. You 100% on you. You can change anytime. So if your benefit is more on you right now, you could very well switch to yours, um, or wait for 14 months or 24 months or 36 months, or you can wait all the way up until the month you turn 70 when it really goes up. So it's 100% your decision. Um, so a lot of people don't know that you're collecting survivor benefits. You didn't touch yours. So number one, great strategy, awesome. You let yours continue to increase, and then when yours is the number you like, then switch over to yours. Easy, easy. SSDI, is there a difference between back pay and retro payment? No, it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, retroactive payment is back pay, they owe you X amount because, your case was decided and you applied last year and then you had a year of protective filing, so they owe you 2 years worth of benefits, and so they give you 2 years of back pay retroactive payment. So it's the same thing. Let's see. Mark, I had a life changing event, retired age 65 from the job due to a work related injury. 12/23. Been charged IRMA since day one. Sold rental property in 23. Is it worth contesting? The rental property, that's capital gains. I don't think they're going to, rule in favor of you there. But if the retirement income part does, it depends on how much that is. It's based on 2 years ago, 106,000 if you're single, 106,000, 212,000 if you're married. Um, and Yeah, if you've stopped working since that time, absolutely. SSA 44. It's a life changing event, and it'll take a while. But if they, if they start taking that extra money out, they already took it out, starting December, and they start taking out two or three or four checks, and then they approve your life changing event, they'll give you that money back. So. All right, I'm jumping around here. I got tons of question. Let's see here. Let me find someone that I don't recognize. Brenda. So my husband passed away, and they are sending me a check for his capital gain that he had received over the last 32 years. How much do I have to hold on? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a private finance type thing. That's IRS type something. All right. Disabled adult child worked from 2013 to 2017 and exceeded SGA. Dak's dad just passed away. Can he collect survivor benefits as is greater than benefits on his own work? Right. Yeah, the DAC on something like that. So you work for 4 years, exceeded the SGA. But I in that particular, I would file. I would file a claim if you became disabled before the age of 22, and your parent just passed away. I would definitely file for the disabled adult child benefits and have them run the calculations and have them run the time frame and see if they can exclude that period. So I would definitely 100% check it out. Um, all right. If Vivek and Oz end up getting Medicare Advantage, does that mean there won't be a N or G anymore? I We don't know, but I am definitely keeping a close eye on all of this. Yeah, Dr. Oz has made no secrets that he likes Medicare Advantage. He wants Medicare Advantage for all, but I'm going to keep keeping an eye on this, and we might have to take some action and reach out. If I have insurance still working, my spouse is turning 65 in April. Does he have to apply for Medicare Part A? Um, um, well, Part A and Part B. If so, you have health insurance from work, and he receives he receives health insurance from your current work, and your employer has 20 or more employees. I'm assuming. If that's the case, nope, doesn't have to apply. Doesn't have to apply for A or B or B or A or whatever. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to apply. He's good. Um, some people do apply for Medicare Part A, even though they have health insurance from work, because the Medicare Part A hospital deductible might be cheaper than the one you have from work. And, um, it's a zero premium per month. So zero premium, and you get might save some extra benefits if you have to go to the hospital. One thing that if you're giving to an HSA, if he's giving to an HSA health savings account, then he has to stop contributing to that health savings account 6 months before he signs up for Part A. If my Social Security benefit record statement showing I should get 3,000 at full retirement age, does it mean I can stop working and wait until FRA, or I have to work to FRA? That means how it works is they project out based on what you've been making recently. So if you're, 55 years old and you looked at it and it says, "Hey, at full retirement age you'll make $3,000." That's because it's assuming you're going to be, working for the next 12 years, making about the same amount of money. So if you stop working or you increase your work, then those numbers are not accurate. Then it's guesstimating based on future work. Let's see. Second question is for a friend of mine. Okay, great. We always like looking out for friends. Postal worker who is a veteran, can he collect on his veterans benefits at age 62? Veterans benefits, yeah, you reach out to the Veterans Administration, and it really depends on what type of benefits you're talking about. Can a spouse retired at age 62 collect benefits from at age 58 who is on SSDI? No, the person has to, well, no, the disability, you're receiving disability and the spouse is 62, they can file for benefits on that record. Just the number holder, the person has to be receiving retirement benefits or disability benefits, and they're receiving disability benefits. So I'm divorced over 7 years. I'm getting spousal Social Security added to my less than half. Now what happens if I remarry? Will I take a big hit? Yes, if you remarry, because it sounds like you're just receiving spousal benefit or spousal Social Security instead of surviving. With surviving spouse benefits, you can get remarried after the age of 60. Um, but if that person is still out there, then yes, when you get married, your benefits stop. Um, are we having to sign up for Medicare Advantage? Yeah, if you have Part A and Part B, and you just get that, you just turned 65, you just sign up for Part A, Part B, you definitely, definitely, definitely need to get something to cover the gaps, unless you got a few $1 million hanging around somewhere. But you need to cover the gaps of original Medicare Part A and Part B. And as I always say, recommend Medicare Supplement first. Check those out. If it's not good for you, then you check out Medicare Advantage. And those are through private companies. All of those are through private companies. Social Security can't help you out with that. I only help with Part A and Part B. That's why I teamed up with Chapter, and you can reach out to them and they can go over all the plans in your particular area and give you all your options. And they're 100% free. They don't help you out. Raise FICA cap to no limit. I agree 100%. My spouse is 72 years old and has been collecting Social Security since he was 65. He is now going to retire from work in April and trying to reduce my percentage of taxes. Okay. So, yeah, if you're 72 years old and your husband is receiving Social Security, if his benefit amount is twice as yours, then yeah. Um, how come Weir never mentions the fact that we now electronically generate we the people's order to Fed fixes? Okay, all right, okay, all right. Does that sound like possibly a Bitcoin type of thingy here? All right. Retired 12/23. My full retirement age is October 2025. You say I can make $1 billion a month starting October 2025. Can I get a job now and make as much money as a prorated? Um, so your full retirement age is October 2025. So you can make this year, you can make $62,160 in the months before, from January until September. Starting October, you can go back to making $1 billion a month. But from now until September, you can make $62,160. So SSDI has told us 3 times now that I do not need Part B until 65. I receive PERS industrial retirement with health coverage. What do I do? Um, yeah, usually receive PERS industrial with yeah, so that's a retirement plan. That's not considered, credible coverage. It's not from work. I would, yeah, you're talking to probably someone at the front window. I would reach out to Medicare themselves. I would call 1-800 Medicare and talk to the Medicare people on that one. So, Ed, I appreciate you sticking up for this oxymoron. We are the 97%, but seemingly we're the minority. Yes, it seems like it. Yeah, with With great lobbyists, I guess you can get politicians to do anything, right? So I guess the option is we get the same deal as these 3% of government employees, that we get more percentage of what we paid into it, like they're about to get, or they redo the calculation, which I've got a solution for that. It's an easy solution. It's well known. It's not my solution. This is a well known solution, and they get what they're entitled to. What they're eligible for. Just as if there's a teacher in Texas, that person gets exactly the same amount as a percentage as someone in Kansas or Alabama or Georgia or West Virginia or Virginia. So the teacher in Texas shouldn't get extra. If we don't get all extra, then they shouldn't get extra. So, but again, I'll talk about that tomorrow. When a person on SSDI passes, does both the survivor and spouse and the child get survival benefits? And is there a family maximum limit? Yes, if you have someone that passes away and you have children, yes, a spouse and a child or children can get those survivor benefits. The spouse, in order to get it, they're still under the annual earnings limit. So if they're working, making over the 23,400, then their benefits be withhold. And yes, there is a family limit for everybody, including surviving spouse benefits. So let's see here. This is my first time on Social Security and Medicare. It's like I'm in a new amusement park, but I need to learn how to maneuver around things. Thank you. All right, perfect. Yeah. For Social Security, this is the place. For Medicare Part A and Part B, this is the place, or you can reach out to Chapter for all the other kind of stuff to fill in the holes. So I'm trying to provide a full service. I'm looking for a veteran type of person to help with veterans benefits. I don't know if I'll ever add an IRS person on here, but people are always asking IRS type questions. But anyway, can a spouse retired at 62 collect benefit? Okay, I already answered that one. Let me see. My aunt and her companion have been together for 40 years but never married. Do they have to be married for her to receive on his benefits? If so, how long must they be married before she can file on his? So they're currently married. So since they're current, they don't have to do the whole 10-year marriage. So they get married, then she can file for benefits. There's a 1 year wait, but there's an exceptions on that one. So yeah, if she gets married, then she can file for benefits on his record. Yep. Unless, of course, your particular state is a common law marriage state, and maybe your particular state recognizes that 40-year common law marriage, and they don't even have to get married. So that's a case as well. Um, 2018 retired early because of bad replaced hip and lost kidney. Could I still do the same disability some kind? Currently 67. No, pretty much because you're pretty much your full retirement age. There's no more disability after your full retirement age. But sometimes there's exceptions to this. Is if you can file for benefits and you can argue that your disability began a year ago, 2 years, or 3 years ago, maybe they might be able to give you retroactive benefits. But the problem there is, for disability, you have to meet two insurance statuses. You have to be currently insured, which you are because you're receiving retirement, so you actually paid into the system. And you also have to be, excuse me, that's insured. You also have to be currently insured. That means you worked 5 out of the last 10 years. And out of the last 10 years, if you say your disability began a year ago, then 5 out of the last 10 years starting a year ago. So I'm so pissed. Social Security Unfairness Act. Yes, I am, and I'm getting a bunch of messages from these 3%, and they're partying, and they're so happy, and they said, "Ed, shove it," and we won, and you lost, and it's like, wow, okay. So they're very happy that they work the politicians. So um, whatever. Democrats and Republicans voted for the bill, and Biden signed the bill, and now it's law. Yep, and it was bipartisan. Both parties got bedazzled. So, all right, let's see. We're getting close to the end here. Let's find someone I haven't seen before. Tresser, I am a full-time employee, but will be turning 61 this year. My husband will be 65 and currently receives Social Security disability. Should I file for Social Security when I turn 62? Yeah, completely your decision. The information I put up there, are you working? Are benefits going to be withheld? Do you need the money? Is it better for you to wait? Is it going to put you in a higher tax bracket? Whatever the case may be. Um, and because your husband is 65 receiving benefits, if you file for benefits on your record, you will also have to file for benefits on his record at the same time. So, Stuart, hello from Japan. Oh, ohayou gozaimasu, konnichiwa, whatever it is over there. Akameshito omedetou gozaimasu. Happy New Year. I reach my full retirement age in March and want to start drawing my Social Security. When would I receive my first check? So if you start your benefits in March, you'll get your first check in April. They always pay a month late. March check comes in April. April check comes in May. So, all right, I am out of time. I've got tons of questions left. I apologize. I will be back again tomorrow, and I will do my angry video tomorrow about the Social Security Unfairness Act that just passed. But let's take action. And if they're going to give more money to 3%, I say we fight to get that extra money or we make it fair. And so we'll see y'all tomorrow. Have an awesome night and take care of each other.